All right. Anyone who's watching this, we're sorry you couldn't make it live. We're going to work on troubleshooting some of the calendar invite issues, but thank you, those of you that were able to make it. Kicking off we've got more coming in now as I speak. We're kicking off our March Mastermind for the West Coast. And we've got obviously we're in the thick of the open. I'm already thinking past the open. The athlete in me just wants it to be done with. But the affiliate owner in me is enjoying it, got members really excited and having fun with it. So hopefully you guys are having some of that as well. Looking past was sort of our thought process for this call. I was talking with Zia and Craig and wanted to get their masterminds in on this and really thinking what is your head at looking right now in the middle of the open, and what are you planning? What is your thought process as a business owner? And they were talking about how obviously right now is the time for working on the members you have, and that is what the open is so great for. But then when the open ends, there can be this letdown or almost feeling a little bit lost coming down from all of the high energy and impact that the open has, and where do we go from here? So really excited for this topic and what we can learn from each other. So obviously I'm going to lean on Zia and Craig to kick us off, but everyone, if you guys have things to add or questions that pertain to you or your affiliate, we'd love to hear from everyone.
The open is a great time, and I don't know about you guys, but it's been so much fun, so refreshing to get into the open season and watching all of the first time pull-ups, first time out. I mean, just the whole Friday Night Lights of it, and we're having a great time, and it's a good opportunity, hard work, but to fill your cup and kind of put aside all the drama and everything, and just kind of like remember this season for what it is and having a great time. So I hope you guys are all having just as much fun as we are. I know Craig's having a lot of fun with his new girls versus boys intramural open. I can't wait to do that next year. But looking forward after the open is kind of our first time of the year to really focus on growth. And, after the holidays, it's, people don't generally start new fitness programs in the holidays over Christmas and New Year's, getting back into the swing of things. And then after the open, we can really kind of put our heads down and really start like, okay, it's spring. It's time to get all those, people looking to get fit for summer into the gym. And so this is kind of where we kick it off at the end of the open, personally at Counterculture. I don't know about you, Craig.
Open was one of those lessons for me.
You're on mute, buddy.
No, I heard him. I heard him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No?
Did you hear him?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Now the open was one of those lessons for me that we always have to keep the foot on the gas. I backed off a little bit and decided not do an intramural open just because it's so overwhelming for myself and a couple of others that do all the scoring and all the bullshit and trying to keep the teams on track and all the stuff that goes with it. It's a lot of work, as you guys know, for owners. And my coaches, when our attendance early on was, our participation in the open, registrations for the open were down a little bit. I asked our coaches meeting to say, what's up? And, ideas that you guys have. And one of my coaches said, look, Craig, this is Diablo. Our members love a good competition. We need to do something to compete against one another. So I quickly put in place the easiest thing to do right away was just split the gym somehow. Millennials versus masters we've done in the past, something like that, old versus young. And instead we decided to go guys versus girls, and it turned out to be a blast, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun. It's, again, all of the same work, and it's just it was kind of a kick in the pants for me. Like, as affiliate owners, we know we just can't take the foot off the gas. Like there's no time when we can really relax, go, this thing's going to run itself. People keep coming in. The business is going to grow. Our members are going to stay. No one's going to complain. And so for us, it's been a really good open. It was eye-opening for me, and our members are having a freaking blast. So I'm excited, especially with all the shit that has gone down on social media and everywhere else to try and take it away from us. It's been great. So exciting, but it's up to us. Like, it is truly up to us as the affiliate owners and our coaches to make it work. As I look past the open. One of the things that we've done in the past, and you know, by the way, tell me, just Katie, tell me to shut up if I go too long, or Zia will text me. But the one of the things that we've done in the past post open that has worked really well is to have people, our members, do an assessment with a coach. So in other words, you pay $40 and you get a half-hour session with a coach to look at your open scores and then talk to you about your goals for the next year. We use the open as a way to kind of test our fitness once a year. It's the one true test of how far along you've come. But sitting down one-on-one with a coach has a great appeal for people. And what it does is it engages the customer. One, it positions the coach as an expert and the gym as an expert in this stuff. And then two, it gives the coach an opportunity maybe to gain a private coaching client. And all it is a discussion around, okay, here's how you did. Here's some of the things that I would recommend. And if you'd like, I can put together a training plan for you, or we can get together once a month and kind of review where you are and go from there. So that has worked really well for us in the past. And you do it the first 3 weeks after the open. The bridging off of that, something that we do that generates a pretty good amount of revenue for Diablo, but more importantly for our coaches, is accessory programming. And the accessory programming we do, most of our coaches and you guys are probably really good at writing programs. But what we found is that our members are willing to pay for specialized programming that helps them with a specific thing that they want to accomplish. So it's getting their first pull-up. Maybe it's, getting butterfly pull-ups, or maybe it's whatever it is, getting stronger, building my squat strength, improving my clean and jerk, improving my snatch. Our members are willing to pay for accessory programs from a coach that gives them 2 to 3 days a week of work that they do outside of class. They either do it at home, or they do it in open gym, or they do it right after class. And they will pay a monthly fee or a one-time fee for that program. And I have a number of coaches. I have probably 4 or 5 coaches now that have a stable of clients, 4 to 5 clients each, that they do programming for. And it's an added benefit for the client. Now, what I try to do, what I have to coach my coaches on, is making sure that you're not giving too much of yourself. In other words, you're writing programming for them, but if they come in and they meet with you and they want to, practice some of those skills, that's a private coaching session. And so I literally have to coach my coaches on how to make sure that they're not getting taken advantage of. But that accessory programming takes no space in your gym. It's literally, it's you writing programming, and there's 1,000 programs online. But the best programming is from someone that sees you and knows you and connects with you, and it's way more desirable. And so we've had great success. I've had great success in augmenting my or supplementing my coach's income with accessory programming, and right after the open, doing an assessment leading into that is a win. And you can price that. Again, I would price it. You do a package where it's $100, and I'll give you a 6-week program for pull-ups. And by the end of it, and I'm so bold, and I've always found this to be very beneficial, and because I'm convinced of what we can do. But I would be so bold as to say money back guarantee. If you don't get what you set out to do by the end of the program, I'll give you your money back. If you are passionate about what you do and you write good programming, even if they don't accomplish the task that they set out to do, they are not going to ask for the money back, because they're going to gain significant value. But what it does is it endears them to you, and lets you know that you believe in what you talk about. Obviously, taking someone that can't do a pull-up and telling them in 6 weeks you're going to get my muscle up and guaranteeing that, it's not that wouldn't be the right thing to do. but I think you all know what I mean by that. So accessory programming.
Really quick, Craig, when you do that $100, and again, I know it's an example, would that include the one-on-one meetup first to assess and goal set, or is that a separate cost? And this $100 would just be the 6 week?
No, $100 is 6 weeks.
Yeah, and then you were saying you guys usually do like
Do an
$40.
assessment, and in the assessment, hey, look, I gotta, here's what you need to do, right? You're gonna need to practice double unders, 3 times a week. You're gonna need to, and you need to do a couple of drills with it. I can write a program for you that's specific to you because I know and understand you. It's, $100, and I'll give you a 6 week program, and I'll check in with you every 2 weeks, or here's my text number. You can text me and let me know how you're doing on those progressions. Even better is like you can put it on TrueCoach and and manage it through TrueCoach. We have a TrueCoach account at Diablo, and I require all my coaches, if they're doing any accessory programming or they're doing any written programming, they got to do it through us. Just helps me keep tabs on them. I'm sure there's coaches that have the Venmo relationship with 1 or 2 members. Drives me batshit crazy. But they know that, our coaches know, you do it through TrueCoach, you charge the members through us. I'm really generous with how I compensate my coaches for things like accessory programming. We do on accessory programming, I do 75-25. So 75% for the coach, 25% for us. That covers my employment costs, everything else. But it's a nice little extra revenue to the bottom line.
Very cool.
I can keep going. I got more ideas, but I didn't want to take over the call.
Zia, did you have anything to add on that?
I mean, that's your post open. As far as existing clients go, we always capitalize when people are like, man, I don't have my double unders. I couldn't do. We always do a double under clinic that costs $100 for the day after the open to participate in. And sometimes I have RX Smart Gear up and one of their coaches come and do it. We'll charge a little bit more, but I always take the opportunity post open to do a double under clinic. And then we have a gymnastics class once a week that we facilitate, and we'll always add a second one. And that is a paid class to attend to work on those skills. And within that class, that coach has a lot of clients that he has just working on gymnastics that he gets to profit off of. And his clientele always grows post open because they get there and they're like, I just couldn't do that 1 bar muscle up. But we do the double under clinic directly after the open every year, and it's always full. We'll have 20-30 people that all of a sudden are like, well, I didn't do. And then, they have the year to work on it. But the new clients every year that come in and they're like, man, I just didn't have that double under. So you can utilize the open we always say the open is your annual physical. And so kind of going from there and being able to measure, but it's a great idea to offer sitting down with each individual participant and going over the open. That's a really good upsell for your private clients. That's a good idea. I would charge $50.
Clinics are a great way. Again, every time we do a clinic, and I spread them out a little bit. I like to do 1 to 2 a quarter, and those clinics always. And every time I do a clinic, then I get 4 or 5 members come to me after, I'd missed that clinic, I couldn't go. I want to go to, can you have another one tomorrow? No, I can't have another one tomorrow, but we will do another one. On the accessory programming, just building off of that, in the clinics related to that, there's some opportunities that are coming up that represent opportunities for your coaches and for your gyms. But one of them is the Murph prep. And I'm going to be putting something out right after the opens closes on a Murph prep, accessory training for Murph prep. And everybody loves to do Murph. Everybody sucks at push-ups. And so what's cool about an accessory program for Murph, it's just so basic, and it's really mostly just volume related. But you make some minor tweaks, and you could offer that for scaled, you could offer it for RX, and you could offer for your advanced athletes how to get better and improve your time in Murph, and make that a added cost program. That's an easy one. The other thing people can do too is start planning for 2026 Open. Here's the things you want to accomplish. I'm going to give you the program to get you where you want to be for next year.
So Murph is a great one. Every year I do an advertisement out for non-members to come into the gym, and we have a 6-week Murph training program. And we charge, I mean, we're in San Diego, but we charge $400 for the 6-week Murph program. And that includes everything that they would need to train. They can do it in the gym or out of the gym, but most of them will do it in the gym and then they stay on as members afterwards.
What do you for that?
I charge $400. That'll include the Murph program and then a month, essentially a month membership to the gym. It's a little bit more than it would be if they were just a member, but then they can follow that Murph training program that we give them and then have access to the gym. And then they usually stay on as members afterwards, which is kind of cool. I think you guys
How do you get the word out on that? Is that like in your mailing list of people that have left, or?
people that have left. I've tried to reach new CrossFitters through that. So I'm marketing on Facebook and Instagram and other like search engine, like my marketing campaign will include that. So like my existing members will not appeal to that because that's more than what they're paying. I have a different plan for them, but new members coming in, that's where I advertise. And I do that on Facebook. And last year I got 11 people that signed up for that in April. If you have a High Rocks event coming to you, we have one coming in December. I will do the same thing for that.
Will you do a 6-week out timeline and promote?
I'll probably do it a little bit longer than 6 weeks for that one, just because of the name.
And it will be a specialized training program, but also access to like regular classes.
Yep. So bringing in new people that are training for that specific thing, but then also realize that CrossFit's pretty cool too.
Does this bypass any kind of like on-ramping that you need to, or do you not normally do that?
We do an on-ramp, and for that $400 Murph one, it will include that. They can get that because that's why it's so expensive. So I never bypass elements. We call it elements. And I never bypass that for any reason. It doesn't suit the athlete. It doesn't suit the other members in class. Like that is something that everybody who has never CrossFit will have to do. But when you do those big group programs and it's 6 weeks, you can do them together in a group setting. So you're not having to do one-offs with all of these people.
Awesome. Sorry, I got one more person emailing me. They can't get in. That's great. I love this. Craig, were you going to add something similar? Different?
Yeah, just on the High Rocks thing. It's there's a number of gyms that are having success with adding High Rocks or putting High Rocks classes on their calendar. We will do something similar with an endurance class. So on our slowest classes, usually it's the evening classes right now, the way that after the pandemic, everything kind of shifted in the calendar, moved earlier in the day. It gets slow on like Tuesday and Thursday nights here. So on Tuesday and Thursday nights, in the past, we've done functional bodybuilding, had some success with that. But we're going to put in an endurance class, really kind of targeting the High Rocks athletes and those people that want to improve their overall endurance capacity, using the kind of the Norwegian 4x4 stuff, multiple Metcons back to back, mostly machine based, and running. And I put it out to the community already, and people are pretty excited about it. There's certainly an appetite for this right now, as we've seen in the past with DECA, Tough Mudders and all of this stuff. It does attract attention, but people are doing specific High Rocks classes. I think if you call it a High Rocks class, you have to affiliate with them or pay the affiliation fee. It's $100 a month or something like that. I think that's a great idea. I was just on a call with Josh Posker, who owns 5 affiliates in the Boston area, and he did a 1-day event. It was called a personal fitness test. High Rocks does it, and I think you have to contact High Rocks to do it. But he had 100 people come in to his gym, and he signed up 10 of them with ongoing memberships. And he's leaning into it there in Boston. It's big. High Rocks are pretty popular there, but he's leaning into it with some High Rocks classes on his calendar. And he says it's drawing people in. It's great. You get them in, you convert them to CrossFit, and they convert to CrossFit, not one, because they realize it's the strength training component of it, especially. But you can do CrossFit and be good and pretty damn good at High Rocks without having to do anything else, maybe a little bit more running. But you can do CrossFit. And then here's the other thing is, what we found with the people here that have done High Rocks events, one, they're expensive. So they don't do a lot of them here, but when they go and they do them, they've come back and said with they love the event, the community is awesome, it's a fun event, but the standards are frustrating. And that's the beauty of a CrossFitter is we hold people accountable to standards, and especially during the open. And then what happens is they go to an event like this and they get beat by somebody that's doing wall ball push press instead of wall balls. And it's, look, I love it. I think it's a celebration of fitness and everybody should be, working out no matter what it is. But it is cool to see that, when people do CrossFit, they can get an appreciation for what functional movements really are and how they should be done. So, but I think that's a very significant opportunity for now and for the probably next 2 years, is to maybe think about putting that in your class schedule, or doing it some sort of event like Josh Plosker did in Boston with the personal fitness test, as a way to bring people in. We own the space. And by that, I mean, obviously functional training, and you can do CrossFit and do all of these events, even run a 5K or 10K pretty comfortably. But we also own the physical space, meaning there's very few gyms where you can go to and you can push a fucking sled, or you can do 100 wall balls and then go for a half-mile run. Well, you can do that at a CrossFit gym. You can't do that at very many gyms around the country. And so we represent a really unique opportunity to capture that community and bring them into our place to make them better at what they do. And they will come in, they'll train, and they'll realize, oh shit, this is cool. And being in a CrossFit class on a Saturday morning for us, but being in a CrossFit class on a Saturday morning is a hell of a lot like being at a High Rocks event. It's a whole bunch of people there working out really hard, sharing the love and the laughter and the fun of a fucking community. And that's one of the things that draws people to High Rocks. You bring people in, you give them that experience, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to build our business for the next 2 years, leveraging that community.
Yeah. It's an easy sell.
Yeah.
It's a cheaper member acquisition. You don't have to sell them on it. They're going to love it the second they walk in. It's as far as you go ahead.
No, I like the ideas of building revenue within the gym base you already have, capitalizing on the events that we're in right now, things like the open, and thinking forward, even as far as a year from now for next year's open, but what's in between now and then, and all the events that you could possibly get them ready for. And then taking that a step further to these events that are happening outside the gym that are really popular, from your Spartan races to your local 5K to a High Rocks event, and not feeling like these are in competition with you, but rather this is your chance to get those people in the door. I was kind of shocked to realize I live under a rock how far Murph has really expanded outside of CrossFit community, because in my mind that's who does it. And then I've got my D1 athlete talking about Murph. I'm like, what do you know about Murph? She's like, oh, everyone knows about Murph. It's all over TikTok. And I'm like, what? She tells me she wants to do Murph. I'm like, you're not doing Murph. You're a volleyball player. What are you talking about? But I want to do Murph. I was like, all right, we're gonna train and adjust and modify and all this stuff. But it's like it's totally become a like a rite of passage, or a I don't know, like a challenge.
Yeah, after the open's over, that should be part of your discussion with your community for, I think, on a weekly basis. What's happening, what's going, and then maybe even beyond that on your social media to maybe attract people to come in and want to try it or do it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. You're going to get both. You're going to get the people that do it every year and want to do better, or do another level of non-scaled or what have you, and then you're going to get the people that have never done CrossFit or had an impression about it, but they want to do this Murph thing, and you can now.
And again, at a minimum, you should be one targeting. We do it in our programming. We have one of our class days of the week is the workouts geared towards Murph prep, but offering your coaches, through your coaches, or even aside from your coaches, offering accessory programming for your members to get better at Murph. And you can put it in Sugar WOD, you can put it in Wodify, you can do it as and that's what we do, is we put it, the Murph prep as a whole separate category. And then we offer it as a private program, and they pay for that private program, and then they can go in and they can click on and see that workout through Sugar WOD or wherever else. Did you want to keep going with ideas? So
Yeah, I feel like you were about to say something too, and I cut you
all right,
there.
go ahead.
Going on this topic, if it's a great topic, I was just gonna give another idea, but I mean, it's along the same lines. Go ahead, Greg.
No, it's so one of the other things we do that's like, because this call was about, revenue after the open, and I'm not sure if it's like a cash generating thought process, but one of the things that we do that helps cover the cost of events and things like that, like the open, we're doing a Friday Night Lights, and at the Friday Night Lights, our community brings food and everything else, like many of you guys do. But on the last one, we do a celebration. So it's a end of the open party. And at that party, there's a lot of people come. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to celebrate the end of the open. And one of the things I do is I offer the opportunity for sponsorship at Diablo. So local companies, usually that have a member relationship with us, I give them the opportunity to help us cover those costs. So for example, this, Friday, we got a taco truck that's coming and it's going to feed probably 150, 200 people. And that taco truck is paid for by Toyota Walnut Creek. And it was a really easy ask. So what I've created is essentially sponsorship of Diablo. And we have about 6 partners that I look for, like 4 to 6 partners that are interested in being a sponsor at Diablo. And the sponsorship gives them the opportunity to sponsor things like our Murph event, our Friday night's party event. We're going to do a community cup this year. They'll be, a part of that. One of them is she runs a Beyond chiropractic clinic. So I let her do a clinic at the gym in exchange for the partnership. I charge anywhere from $1,000 a year to I think the highest price is $3,000. I'll send the docs to Katie and she can share it with everybody. And essentially it's a contract. And what I commit to them is, one, to give them access to our community at an event, for one. And the second thing I do is I tell them I'll talk about them. I'll talk about them I do a weekly email. I'll either talk about them in my weekly email. I do a crappy little podcast. I'll mention them on the podcast or give them a little space on the podcast. And then I'll even just, as much as, if they're, depending upon what they're willing to give, I'll put their logo on my website. It has worked out beautifully. And everybody that has done it wants to come back and do it again the next year. Like, the ask for it every year is like zero resistance. And because it panned out beautifully for them. And one of the things I do, I put a banner up in the gym, and it's up in the corner of our gym, and it says Diablo CrossFit, sponsors. And it's got the logo of each person. Toyota Walnut Creek's been doing the sponsorship with us since 2020. More than 35 members now have purchased cars through his dealership. He said to me, he goes, "This is the biggest no-brainer relationship that I've ever had to do. Like, it has worked out beautiful for him." And our members like it because now they're going someplace that has a relationship with Diablo CrossFit. And it's like, CrossFitters trust other CrossFitters. CrossFitters trust people that Diablo has a relationship with. And it's worked out wonderfully. Same with Maury Chiropractic. If you go over to the chiropractic office at Beyond Chiropractic, you walk in there, you're going to sit down next to someone from Diablo. It's pretty freaking cool. So that's and it's a way to leverage and help you cover some of your costs, and they're eager to do it. So I got a taco truck that's going to feed 150, 200 people on Friday night, and it doesn't cost me a dime. And the members like, "Holy shit, we got tacos! That's fucking awesome."
So he helped cover our costs for some of the food at the affiliate gathering.
They were good.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they brought us.
I didn't realize he's also paying you annually in some form in the contract, and then additionally is offering to cover the breakfast burritos or the lunch at the affiliate gathering, cover the taco truck.
Not one of my sponsors, whether it's the accountant, the guy that has said, "Hey, does this include membership?" Not one of them has asked that. Yeah. They know it's above and beyond, and it's pretty freaking cool. So I feel like we're so community driven, and our members, like doing business with one another. You guys all have it. I think that's kind of a no. It's just, it takes a little bit of time. And I'll give Katie the documents that I use. It's a really simple contract. I have a really simple promotion page where I promote it. It's a 1-page document. And then the rest of it is just, just getting the ask.
I
It's
love
cool.
it. Saw another gym was doing this. I think it was CrossFit Chateau, and they were doing like they weren't doing a contract that I know of or anything like that, but they did like a little small business gathering and hosted that in the gym. And if you're almost like, I don't even know who owns what or who does what, like that could be a cool way if you want to start that. They had like a little event for members of the gym to come in and speak about what they do and share with the members. But if you're giving them access to your community, right? Like you want to make sure that you have something that you're going to get back. But I thought that was kind of another way to build those connections.
Yeah. I've seen his banners. They're very cool. I don't personally do that. I have thought about it, but seems like it's so much better than doing like, so I know some gyms will do like an equipment fee where they're just straight up like, hey, I need a large sum of money to buy equipment every year, which is good. But like, at least it's like, you're still able to buy that large sum of equipment every year, but you're not asking the members directly for more money. So I like that idea much better, the optics of that for sure. And then it's like a harmonious relationship. It's a good idea. I really
I
like
had
it.
at our Christmas party. We do a nice Christmas party every year. A guy that's a real estate broker, Rod Ablossian, and he goes, "Hey, my marketing budget, we've got like $1,500 left in my marketing budget this year. Is there something I could do for you guys, or like something we'd like to do something, coordinate with Diablo and do something?" I'm like, wow, shit, that's awesome. Okay, our Christmas party. Why don't you get really fucking cool raffle prizes for us? They did. It was like a $500 road gift certificate. It was really good. A Lululemon thing package. It was awesome. And we were able at our holiday party to do this freaking killer raffle with really nice stuff. And he came up and he was the guy that led the raffle. And not one person minded. Everyone was like, this is awesome. And of course, he's the guy people are going to look to when they want to buy or sell a home. There's one of the things I think about. I think about my website being an opportunity to promote those types of relationships, and then events are also an opportunity to promote those relationships. And then the other one is, and this one's a pain in the ass, but we used to do, you guys that are OGs we used to do, remember, daily blog posts, and we used to write. I used to watch Freddie Camacho's. I used to read it every day. He was a brilliant writer, and would publish every day, like every single day, like a very lengthy post that was always kind of on point and funny and a lot of fun and relative to the business too. I do something similar. I do a weekly email, and it's, now that I've gotten in the habit of it, it takes me about 2 to 3 hours to write, and it's only 2 to 3 hours because I get distracted when I'm doing it by shit I look up. Um, but it's a super simple format. And again, I'll give it to Katie. But you can go to my website actually. If you click on blog, that's basically the email I send out. It starts with a picture, someone in the community, something related to what we're doing at the outlet, and then it's got a little bit of editorial section. It's like 2 to 3 paragraphs of an editorial. What's great is like ChatGPT and those other AIs can help you write that stuff. If you're not a good writer, composer, you just put your thoughts into ChatGPT, or I've started using Grok, and that one is really fucking good, scary good actually. And then but you can write 2 to 3, that's your words, like in something you're passionate about, whether it's nutrition, whether it's Murph coming up, whether it's the open or your opinion on something. I keep politics out of it, all the stuff that we know, not to talk about. I try to keep that out. But it's just kind of editorial, and it helps the community get to know me and my wife, and because we really are the kind of Diablo CrossFit, and as you guys are with your communities. But then the next section, so that's just 2 to 3 paragraphs, real quick. And the next section is like what's coming up. So, we got Friday Night Lights, we got the events, we got clinics, we got that kind of stuff. And then I also put in there the workouts that are coming up for the week, and I keep it like super abbreviated, meaning it's 7 days and it's one line each sentence, and it's all abbreviated with They're
Acronym.
acronyms so that people can just look at it real quick and they can see what they're going to do for the week. And it just gives you a view. And that's how really it started. I started sending it out. Hey, this is the week ahead. And then it turned into a little bit more. And then the last thing I do is, and this one has become really popular. I didn't think it would be, is I call it Craigslist. The play on words, obvious, but it's just the list of things that I'm reading or seeing or researching. And those things I choose are based upon basically what we try to do and impart to our communities as coaches, usually related to nutrition, strength training, high intensity interval training, curing chronic disease. That's usually, and then occasionally, I'll put what I'm watching, the fun shit that I'm watching on Netflix or the books I'm reading as well. But it's usually links to things that validate what the fuck we're doing. And what's really cool about the algorithm, but what's really cool about what's happening within the world of strength and fitness and exercise and nutrition is people are really starting to understand the benefits of strength training, especially for aging communities, the benefits of high intensity interval training. There is just so much content coming from the primary industry talking heads, the Hubermans, the Rhonda Patricks, the Peter Attias. All of those people are saying the same thing. Strength training is important for longevity. High intensity interval training is important for longevity. All of those things come in, and then it's producing from there. All of those people are directing all of this tons of content, and it's all backed by research. And so I'll put those things in my Craigslist, just a little snippet, just a little link, just kind of keep dripping on people. But that newsletter also offers, that weekly newsletter offers an opportunity, one, to connect with people, and then to talk to or to talk about our sponsors in a meaningful way. I get open rate. I send, this is what I'm going to tell you is that I send it out. By the way, I send it out not only to members, but I send it out to everybody that's on our mailing list. So anybody that was in Mind Body that came to Diablo now, since it's been since 2005 or 2007, since we got Mind Body, I have like 5,000 people on my mailing list. I get like a 50 to 55% open rate on that email. And what's really cool is when people come back that have been away for a number of years. I know, Zia, you get this too. People they go away, and you guys have had this too, where they come back after a couple of years, like, yeah, I went away, I had kids, I moved away, or whatever it was, or a job change, and they come back. And I've had many times people, man, I'm really glad that, I get your email every week. And so when they thought of like, I need to start working out again, they come to your gym. So that's worked as an unbelievable connector, and it's really easy. It's just, and once you have that template, by the way, don't change the fucking template. I literally go into MailChimp and I go duplicate email and I duplicate the email, and then I just change all the sections. I fill in the blank. And it comes out, and I think that repetition too makes it familiar to people, so they know what to expect and they know what to scan to on the email, where to scan to look at the workouts for the week. So keeping it in that same template makes it really easy to write, and you can write it. You can spend little pieces of it all throughout the week and have it done and send it out. Tim Dimmel started doing it. This guy's a pain in the ass affiliate owner over in Palo Alto. Very fucking old school, like paper and pen. And I put him on my email list, and I kept emailing it out and out and out. And he's like, all right. He goes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And now he does it. And I love reading his emails because he freaking writes great. And he does a very similar format, but he's had several members come back to him. And said, hey, I came back. I was getting your email. I thought this was really cool. And he's like, damn it, it worked.
And he's been doing some throwback posts, which you've been doing too. So if you are a
Yes.
member and you left and you see a picture or reference to the old gym, where it started, how it
Oh
came,
my God.
that's so smart. The throwbacks you
Well,
guys
it was like, even that is like, I'm like searching for content. I'm looking through old pictures, like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Oh, I should write about that. And people were like, fuck, I love hearing about your, and we've been in this so long. Everybody that's on this been on this a long time. And we kind of take it for granted, all that old shit we used to do, some of the old stupid shit we used to do. And I write about it. The one was we did the fucking in and out Helen. I don't know if any of you remember that. I put that video up like a month ago, and people loved it. I got more comments from members where every lap of Helen, you had to eat a double. stupidest thing ever is a CrossFit. But people love seeing that stuff. So you get like there's tons of content you can put out to your members. And it just endears them to what you're doing, what you're trying to do. Anyway, sorry, I talked too long again.
That's great. Yeah, you had a hand up at one point.
Well, what I wanted to say earlier about what I will start hitting really hard is the strength training aspect of the whole ecosystem. Everyone's talking about strength training. Women are being told they need to strength train to be healthy, and women are looking for places to do that, and it's not obvious that CrossFit is where they can do that. It is obvious to us because we are in it, we are facilitators of it. I assure you, the average woman who is Googling because whoever, Rhonda Patrick's definitely one of them, says you need to strength train to be strong, to be healthy, to be thin, all of these things that all of these bloggers are saying. They're saying strength training, strength training, strength training. That does not automatically mean CrossFit to any of these people. We do not necessarily scream CrossFit is that answer. So you need to, as facility owners, start putting that into your search engine optimization, put that into your website. I have my website set up so that no existing members are going on my website. I have other avenues. I have an app. We communicate through the app. We post blogs in our app. We email, we do other things. My website is strictly to bring in new clients. Once you are a member, you have no reason to go on my website unless you want to buy a t-shirt online. And you need to make that website be what is in the current ecosystem. And right now that is strength training. So you need to add that to your search engine optimization, to your advertising, to want to get stronger, want to begin your strength training journey. That needs to be there on your website for people when they Google strength training. CrossFit is not necessarily CrossFit counterculture. That's not going to accidentally pop up. I have to create that. So right now it is hot topic to be strength training. And these women are going to weird places. Like in my area, it's like a base camp or an iFit, or like 24-hour fitness is trying really hard with their personal trainers to do strength training. But because of the way that I have rebuilt the back end of my website, if they're Googling strength training in Encinitas, CrossFit counterculture is coming up on top. So it needs to be really explained when you guys are building your marketing, especially right now with everything that's going on. Add strength training to that. Don't just assume that they know, because CrossFit is the ultimate way to get the best coaching and strength training, the best results, and a freaking kick-ass community on top of it. But that is not something that people who have never CrossFit before understand. They're not going to go to CrossFit looking for strength training. They're going to go to CrossFit to look for like a hard workout. So build that, because right now the traction and the click through I'm getting on strength training versus CrossFit and all of these other things, strength training is up there. So advertise a 6-week strength training cycle, or advertise something. I would say last week alone, I had 11 tours of my facility based on strength training alone, just last week. So the way to get people in the door right now, my number one avenue of doing that is that strength training. Put it in your search engine, make sure people can find you, and then you educate them on strength training. And then they realize that it's the same.
I did those 6-week transformations years back, and they were pretty freaking cool, and they worked really well. I think you're onto something there with doing a 6-week strength training transformation. Probably do pretty well.
The click-throughs are insane on that right now. And just watch the tides. And right now it's strength training, but in 8 months, maybe it's going to be something else. But CrossFit is the best way to do anything that people are going to put out there. We have a superior product, but not everyone knows that. You have to attach CrossFit to what they're looking for. But strength training right now, I'm telling you, put it all on your websites, move around how you're advertising. Strength training is the way to go right now.
Love that.
By the way, for those of you that don't know, Zia trains Rhonda Patrick and Rhonda Patrick's mom.
And her husband.
And her husband?
And her husband.
Awesome.
Well, my staff does the husband and the mom, but I do her. I can't do 3 hours of training a day. I have a gym. One a day is tough. But she found CrossFit because she wanted to do strength training, and she reached out to Nicole Carroll, and Nicole Carroll was like, well, CrossFit can do that. She's like, I don't want to CrossFit. I just want to strength train. So I went to her house and I'm like, all right, let's do this. And here she is, 6 months down the road. But every so often she's still like, blown away. She's like, I had no idea that CrossFit is strength training. You should tell more people that. And I sat back and I'm like, well, what do you mean tell people that? But then when you think about it, for somebody who's never stepped foot in a CrossFit, it's just scary. They don't know that we also have education. They don't know that we're the best trainers. They don't know that there's a strength training component in it. And if you can capitalize on that, your facility is less scary to walk into. Especially right now, because man, Huberman, it doesn't matter what podcast you're talking to, they're all talking about strength.
That's such a great point. And we need to bust Don's balls and Jay's balls to freaking get them to start to position that. And Jenna, head of marketing, because I agree. I think that's
conditioning program. It's built into the language of the level 1. This is a strength and conditioning program. That's always what it's called it. And yet we all
it's
know
time for us. It's time for us to put it out there. Like we always held back because, again, for all the different reasons you want to scare people, but man, it's time for that to be out there out front, right on the surface.
We take it for granted a little bit too.
Yeah, we do. That's right. Right.
The average person does not know. And they don't join CrossFit because they don't know how to strength train, but they don't necessarily realize that we will teach them. Just make sure that you teach them. Give them the confidence, give them the tools. We have all the answers, but we just need to let the world know that. But man, if you could put strength training in your local search engine optimization and you pop up 11 last week, 11 people walked in my door last week because they Googled strength training. And if you don't know how to track that, contact someone to teach you, because if you've got words that people are searching in your area and you're not hitting on those, you're missing, someone else is taking your clients from you.
One more idea? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So it's something we've been doing now since last November is we launched a small group training, and there's a number of gyms that have done this and have talked about it. And it was, I talked about it for about 6 months before I actually launched it, how we're going to do it. And you, of course, have to have competent coaches to be able to do this. But essentially, it's offering people a different level of service at your gym, a dedicated class time with a dedicated coach. That's appealing to people that are newer to fitness. They want someone that's going to be with them every time they come in. It's the same person, same coach, same time. Someone's going to help them with the adjustment, or the movement pattern. Someone's going to help them with what weight should they be doing, how they're going to scale the workout, and then designing the entire class session around their skill set or their abilities. Basically meeting them where they are. We charge, so we made it available. We charge for 2 times a week. If it includes, and this includes a membership, so they can come 2 times a week to that, and then they can do a membership for $798 a month. And for our 3 times a week is $998 a month. Yeah.
Craig, that's small group training?
Yeah, small group training.
How small is that group?
Good question. That's 2 to 4 people.
Yeah.
And they do or don't necessarily know the other 2 to 4 people?
They don't necessarily know the other 2 to 4 people.
They will very soon.
Yeah,
so you get, right.
Yeah. So
so you get a membership. You get a membership. Is that a full-time membership?
Yeah, it's a full-time membership. Now
Plus
we can
8 sessions a month.
Correct. Now we will, if they just want to do those 2 sessions a week or those 3 sessions a week only and not do class or not come to open gym, then we essentially remove the cost of the membership out of that price. And we let them do that. Now, I was uncertain as to whether people would do it. And what I found is that I was wrong, that people will do it and they will pay for it. And they're eager to do it. And it was actually pretty damn easy for my coaches to start these sessions. First of all, the first thing they did is that we started from top down is I decided which coaches are going to be competent enough to do it. I had about 4 coaches that were competent enough to do it. And then I met with those coaches and said, okay, when can you do it in your calendar? So we basically kind of temporarily locked in those dates and times. And then I put it out to our community. I got a couple of people interested in it. And then all I did was pass them on to the coach, talk to Jamie, talk to Madeline. And then the coaches just said, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to do this session. It's going to be a locked in session. Here's the price. And I've got now probably 10 members now that are paying those prices and are happy about it. And there's a gym in New York. I got this from. If you don't watch this podcast, you should subscribe to it. It's the Kilo podcast. They get far less viewers than they should on their podcast, like less than 100 every single episode. But their episodes are so good, and it deals with stuff that we deal with on a daily basis. But one guy they interviewed was this guy with Fort NYC, FORT NYC, and he is a CrossFit affiliate. Guy's got 4 locations in New York, granted. And they're 600 to 750 square feet tops. He runs $1.5 million in business out of each one of those locations. He charges I think 750 is like the minimum, up to $1,500 a month. And people are willing to pay. And I thought, who would pay that? But then you think about someone that comes in and let's say they make every single session for a year. Think about that person that comes in that hasn't done any fitness, has a decent income and makes a good living. A $10,000 or $12,000 investment to completely change you guys know in a year what you can do in a year with someone. If you get them in there and they get them working out and their body's going to change, their looks going to be, how they feel is going to change, everything, that's worth a shit ton of money. And I think that's what we end up discounting. And it's something that I've had to work with on our coaches on changing their mindset as to the value that they add on a daily basis to our members is really remarkable. And it's a small price that our members are paying to get that change, that feeling, that health that's going to keep them alive longer and taking care of their families longer. But anyway, I digress a little bit. It's working for us, and it's affecting my revenue. And what's even better is it's affecting the income that my coaches are getting fairly substantially right away. And it's not many hours. If you get 4 people in a class paying you, a 2 time a week class, right? That's what is that? 800 times 432. That's $3,200 a month. And I pay my coaches on that. I pay 65% to the coach and 35% to Diablo. That's for working 2 hours a week. Like, that's a shit ton of money for 2 hours a week for a coach.
I don't know that.
Craig, are you using a different programming for that, or what's the?
Well, I let the coach write the programming, but what they're using as a template is our gym programming. So that's their template and they're operating off of, and then meeting with the members and finding out specifically where they want to get to on their goals. So they'll do an assessment essentially with them, and then figure out where they want to go. But the template is our gym programming, so that they can keep them on track in case they want to do class too.
Super smart.
They need to know how to. Your coach needs to know how to program. But most level 2 coaches should, But anyway, small group training. And if you haven't started it, start to do the research. Look, like I said, it took me from probably 6 months, 7 months of like doing research, talking to other gym owners, up in Oregon, Woods Lawn CrossFit. Dan Purrington up there he helped me out. He came down, he was visiting down, he has family down here. And we were just chatting, having coffee after. He introduced himself as an affiliate owner. And then he told me about his freaking small group training. And he's killing it in about 6, and he has a separate space that's like 650 square feet that he uses for it. And it's probably like 60% of his revenue at his gym. And he's the one that I'm like, okay, if Dan can do it and he'll help me, I'm going to do it. And that was the thing that kind of threw me over the edge. And then watching the podcast and listening to the guy from Fort NYC on the Kilo podcast talk, I was like, holy shit, people are willing to pay. And then I realized that they should be willing to pay it.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of staff that can do it, so mine ends up being very exclusive. but I've got waiting lists for it, right? Because I only have 2 coaches that I trust to do it right, put my name on it. And so for that reason, it's limited spots, and it filled up pretty quickly. And so I've got a wait list. So if I can hire more people, or, you know, circumstances change, the program would make me more money if I had the ability to have more people do it. But it's just, I'm starting slow, which I think is, hearing Craig taking 6 months to launch makes me feel better, because I started super slow, because I'm like, you know, a limited staff with it, but like I have a wait list for it. And they'll pay. I'm in Southern California, so I charge $1,000 a month. But they pay it. They have it. They have stupid money. I don't know where these people get all their money. I should probably charge
the clients we need, though. We did a call about it a while back. I talked a lot with Dan Purrington from Woods Lawn before the call, and then again afterwards. So he's a resource. Obviously, Craig's doing it. He's a resource as well. And that's the call where owners were kind of chiming in, those that did it. I think, doesn't Hari do it at NYC? I think he does it. Yeah.
He has a huge program.
Yeah. So he's on the call and talking about it. So that's a OG affiliate owner as well. But you guys could check that out. And if you're ever looking to pick someone's brain about it more and I don't know how to get a hold of them, that's what I'm for. You guys can let me know and I can get you in contact with someone. But man, we got so much information. I'm really excited. I feel like, did we get everything out? Did we miss anything you guys had?
I mean, we could probably talk about this forever.
Well, we can keep doing things like this. We can, a few months later, we can do another one, brainstorm some new ideas. Did anyone have any questions they didn't get to ask? I'll be sending out a recap email. I'll post this call on YouTube. And then I know Craig mentioned some resources that he's happy to share. So I can attach those as well. And if you guys didn't see, we're going to do another call with also Craig and Zia next month. And we're going to be talking about the flip side of this, where this one was all about bringing money in. We're going to talk about not letting money go out too much or too quickly. So what can we do to save? Maybe where are you spending where you didn't need to be? And so if you have questions for that, or you have some sneaky tips that you'd like to share, bring those in April. So Craig, were you going to say something else?
Yeah, I'd say that Z and I are both available for calls. I do calls, so I'm happy to get on the phone and talk to anybody about any of this one-on-one. It's no big deal. It is. I will tell you this, and I've got a sense of this, Z, and I talked to other owners as well, and other influential owners and other people within the business, that I think the next 2 to 3 years are going to be really, really good years for affiliate owners. But we have to keep our foot on the gas. We have to put ourselves out there. I think C is right with respect to strength training, especially. High Rocks offers us a significant opportunity, but fitness has become really important. I've just gotten a sense from the people that are coming in. We've had probably since the beginning of the year, there's almost a record number of people come in and do tours with us. And I haven't really done anything different. I'm not doing any advertising. So I'm getting a sense that the whole national messaging around being healthy, living longer, longevity, all of it becoming popular is going to bode really well for us. But I will tell you this, we cannot wait for CrossFit or expect CrossFit to do it for us. It is so much up to the owners. And what I would encourage you to do is, one, you guys all know how to do it. We build boxes and wall balls ourselves. We can do it. And then I think if possible, please share it with other owners. Get the word out. Z and I have that. We do it all the time. We send each other a little hashtag. It's up to us, and it really is. And I'll let CrossFit worry about the brand, take care of the brand, and make sure there's training classes available so I can get new coaches certified. But other than that, man, it's up to us, and we need to share it and spread it, because the CrossFit methodology is still so fucking amazing, and it remains the best. Glassman is brilliant in his creation of this methodology, but it is up to us to share it and continue to spread the religion. So thank you for being on the call.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Zia and Craig, for sharing. See you guys next week. We'll fix that link.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that'll be our goal.
Have a good one.